Hey guys, welcome. It's Dr. Price with Action Potential Mentoring, and I'm going to give you the guide to help determine your specialty. So, if you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, check out our Twitter. This is where I'm the most active. It's action_AP. If you want to find me on there, and our website is actionpotentialmentoring.com if you're interested in some coaching. All right, so without further ado, let's roll. I made a list here of all the different specialties that you can apply for. And here's a helpful list on careers in medicine CIM that also dives into some of the specialty profiles. All the links for this talk will be in the description of the video, so no need to worry right now. So here's the list that we're going to use. I want you to use the following questions to cross off specialties from the list above. So essentially, you're going to rule out which specialties you're not interested in instead of ruling them in. I think it's a little bit easier to think about it this way. And so keep in mind, these are just the questions that I asked myself when I was going through this process. This is by no means all inclusive. This is not the only way to do it, but this is what worked personally for me. So the first question that I asked is, what is my goal knowledge base going to be? Do you want to know a little about a lot or a lot about a little? So if you want to know a little about a lot, primary care might be the right option for you. So this is anything from family medicine, internal medicine, peds, gen surge, which I put into the little about a lot category, as well as EM. And then if you want to know a lot about a little, you want to subspecialize. And so this is going to be everything else. So if you're able to answer from this question right here that you want to do primary care, you can literally go to the list up here and cross off everything else. So if you want to do primary care, obviously you can click off plastic surgery, you can click off thoracic surgery. Like those are not going to fall under that category. So that's question number one. Let's talk about question number two. Do you want to do surgery or a non-surgical specialty? So, for example, some of the surgical specialties include gen surge, plastic surgery, thoracic surgery, vascular surgery, ENT, also known as otolaryngology, urology, OBGYN, neurosurgery, and ortho. And so these are the main surgical specialties. Also, let's throw in ophthalmology there. I'll add them to the list for you guys. And then non-surgical is going to be everything else essentially. So if you know for sure you want to do surgery, just go up to this list right here and then click off everything that doesn't fit your criteria. So you'll be left with the surgical specialties. Third question, if you're still leaning towards a non-surgical specialty, do you want to do procedures? Some people, they just want to see patients in clinic, which is totally awesome, and they don't want to ever do procedures. So you have to ask yourself this question. If it's not surgery, are you still going to do procedures? And so some of the procedural specialties include pulmonary crit care. They do a ton of invasive ICU procedures. You have EM, obviously they do a lot in the ER downstairs. You have interventional cardiology, which is a fellowship from a cardiology fellowship on top of an interventional training beyond that. Anesthesiology, derm, family medicine, interventional radiology, interventional nephrology, neuro-IR, and PM&R. So these are all pretty heavy procedural specialties. And so if you want to do procedures, cross off everything else off the list. These are kind of your main core specialties to look into. Fourth question here. Is there a specific area of the body that you prefer treating? And so some of the areas of the body include urology, obviously, is the genital urinary system. Hand surgery is very specialized. There's neurosurgery for the brain, ENT, OBGYN, thoracic, psych, ortho, PM&R, neurology, child neuro, ophtho, and urology. These are kind of like the specific area of the body type specialties. So if there's something that you're really drawn to, let's say you've been a pianist your whole life and you broke your wrist and now you want to help other people, hand surgery might be the way to look for you. And so you can get to hand surgery, for example, through general surgery as a fellowship, through orthopedic surgery as a fellowship, and then also through plastic surgery. You can also go into hand surgery. So there's a ton of different routes to get to the end goal. Fifth question, is there a specific patient population that you want to treat? So do you want to treat elderly, adults, children, or everyone? And so this can make your decision a lot easier. So if you like a specialized populations, you might want to start thinking about geriatrics for the elderly, OBGYN for the female patient population, pediatrics for children, child neuro if you want to talk about neurologic disorders in children, and then IM/peds is another one. The sixth question to ask yourself is, do you want to work inpatient or outpatient primarily? So this one's kind of a nuanced question. This is a little bit more tough to really navigate, but some of the things that come to mind when I hear clinic include family medicine, outpatient peds, outpatient IM, derm, and ophtho. Those are kind of some of the more outpatient type specialties. And keep in mind, ophtho, they're going to need to go to surgical centers and stuff like that to do their procedures. If you like the hospital and ICU, then you have everything from hospitalists, critical care, surgical specialties, and many of the procedural specialties as well. So they can either be in clinic or in a hospital, and some of them just use a surgical or procedural center for their procedures. If you love the emergency department, then obviously EM might be your calling. And then the seventh question, this is actually a term that my girlfriend came up with that I really like, and I've basically had this in the back of my head ever since she said it. Do you want to do happy medicine or problem solving medicine? And so some specialties are going to deal with more sick patients, and others are going to deal with optimizing wellness. So stuff like OBGYN, family medicine, pediatrics, and preventative functional medicine, those are more along the lines of happy medicine. And not to say that they don't have problems that you solve, but a lot of your day to day is going to be wellness checks, helping them optimize their condition, patient counseling, that type of stuff. On the other hand, strictly problem solving medicine would be stuff like surgery, internal medicine, EM, radiology, pathology, etc. Another way to think about this is, do I want to work with healthy people who stay healthy, sick people who stay sick, and then sick people who get healthy? For example, this one seems really counterintuitive, sick people who stay sick. Well, let's go up to our list up here. For example, I'm in vascular surgery, so I'll speak about this specific example. No matter what we do for a large portion of our patients, they're never going to be as good as they were 20, 30 years ago. If somebody comes in with life-limiting claudication, we can do bypasses, we can do stents, we can do angioplasty. There's all kinds of different treatment modalities that we have. But at the end of the day, it's the hands of a surgeon versus the hands of God. We're never going to surpass what you were born with. So vascular surgery for a lot of patients is sick people that stay sick and you just improve their quality of life. Some people like that, other people don't at all. So that's the reason why there's different specialties for everybody. So I recommend going through those 7 questions, literally getting a white piece of paper, writing down all these specialties here, and then just crossing them off as you go. Like if you know for a fact you don't want to do procedures, you can easily click off anesthesia because you're going to be doing procedures all day. And so you can use this ruling out process to really fine tune and get down to the specialty that's best for you. So I'll go through this process myself as a vascular surgery resident and kind of tell you my line of reasoning to hopefully give you some additional context for this. All right, first question. What is your goal knowledge base? Do you want to know a lot about a little? Okay, cool. That's kind of what I was interested in, so I wanted to specialize. So vascular surgery is still in the mix. So I would go up here and cross off family medicine, internal medicine, peds, those types of things. All right, second question. Do you want to do surgery or non-surgical specialty? So obviously surgical specialty, being that it's vascular surgery, so all these specialties would still be uncrossed. Third question, if it's a non-surgical specialty, do I still want to do procedures? This question doesn't apply to me, so moving on. Fourth question, is there a specific area of the body that I prefer treating? The answer for me was honestly no. I like the entire body. I did an anatomy fellowship in between my first and second year of med school, and I just loved every single aspect of the body. And vascular kind of fulfilled that criteria for me because we operate everywhere from the neck to the chest to the abdomen, down your legs, down your arms, everywhere. Fifth question, is there a specific patient population that you want to treat? This was one of the most important questions for me in the process because I knew that I wanted to treat elderly patients. And so vascular surgery's patient population is almost exclusively elderly patients or younger patients that had a really bad problem. And so I genuinely enjoy working with the elderly patients. I worked in a nursing home for 5.5 years as a certified nurse aide, and I knew that my calling in my future was either going to be surgical, being vascular surgery, or non-surgical, being geriatrics. And so I ended up taking the jump and going for vascular, obviously. Sixth question, do you want to work inpatient or outpatient? One thing I like about vascular is you can actually do both. I'm probably going to work more inpatient early on in my career. And then the older I get, the further along I go, the more that I want to spend time with my family. Obviously, once I reach that stage of life, then I'm going to do more outpatient stuff. And then seventh question, do you want to do happy medicine or problem-solving medicine? For me, vascular definitely falls under the problem-solving criteria, being that it's a lot of sick people who stay sick and occasionally the sick person who gets healthy, which is a huge win whenever that gets to happen. And so If your school gives you access, I would contact one of your advisors to ask. The Careers in Medicine MSPI, which stands for Medical Specialty Preference Index Test, is pretty useful, honestly. I recommend giving it a shot. I'll put the link in the description. Also, check out the different specialty profiles at this link, which I'll also share below. And then the two most useful websites to research different residency programs is a Residency Explorer tool, and this is the only tool that I know of online that utilizes data from the NRMP, the NBME, the NBOME, ERAS, Graduate Medical Education, and ACGME. And then Frida also is phenomenal. It'll help you categorize programs into community, university, academic, that type of stuff. So I really like Frida as well. And keep in mind that these questions and these strategies in this video, they're not all inclusive, but this is my personal strategy for deciding which specialty to pursue. And this is how I like to teach my mentees how to actually navigate the process of determining a specialty. So if you like this video, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, action_AP. And if you'd like any mentoring or coaching, feel free to reach out for a free call at our website at actionpotentialmentoring.com. Hope this was helpful, guys.